Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell a coaching program. Have you ever wondered how to sell a coaching program? Coaching programs are high ticket and can absolutely transform a business, but selling them is tricky. Well, you're in good hands because I've been in the coaching world for over 2.5 decades. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you all the tools you need to sell a coaching program. As many coaches and influencers start to scale their business, they've got to learn how to sell coaching programs. Many times they can sell it just by being the authority on the topic at hand. But at some point, if you really want to scale, that influencer or coach can't sell everybody. And eventually they got to know the ins and the outs of selling a coaching program. Well, today I want to show you exactly how to do this by first defining what a coaching program is and what clients understand that to be. Then what technique is used to sell high ticket coaching programs by breaking down each of those sales processes. If you're ready, let's go. So what is a coaching program? Usually it's a high ticket cost. We're talking anywhere between $3,000 to maybe $15,000, $20,000. And it involves a student working with a coach one-on-one to help them learn something on a fast track. That's why they're paired with a coach. If you think of the best ways that you learn, do you learn best one-on-many, like a classroom setting? Or do you learn maybe peer-to-peer or small group? You could, but I think most people would agree the way they learn the best is that they're able to work one-on-one with somebody who is an expert or an authority in what they're trying to learn. And so that's one-on-one coaching. That's a coaching program. Now, usually coaching programs, at least in the industry that I've come from, have other components with it as well. There might be group coaching associated with it. There might be the access to a hotline. There might even be access to a platform with a lot of good content or other materials they might need to continue to learn. So what I've seen work best, and this is what our organization does when we do education and coaching for other influencers or coaches out there, we provide all these things because we believe that if they have all the access to the different ways that they learn, they're going to get the most out of it. So the one-on-one, the one-on-many, the classroom type setting, and learning on their own. We provide that all in one package, and we've seen that that works really, really well. And when somebody starts the business, they might say, man, I need to learn how to sell coaching programs. But there's a lot to unpack with that, right? So if you're selling a coaching program, obviously you have to fulfill that coaching program. And there's two schools of thoughts. You can either outsource the fulfillment of that, which if it's a reputable organization, it could be a great thing. That one of the companies that I'm a part of, that's exactly what we do, is we fulfill coaching programs for influencers, thought leaders, best-selling authors out there. So it takes all the guesswork out of them. It allows them to focus on what they love and what they're best at, which is influencing, writing books, speaking from stages, maybe doing the sales aspect of it, and we do all of the fulfillment. We've got it standardized in such a way that we produce very good results and testimonials every single week. So outsourcing could be an option. So let's talk about the client's perception when they're being sold a coaching program and how it should be sold. When it comes to a coaching program, I feel 100% that question-based selling is the best approach. And really, that's where the customer does most of the talking. Because when you're talking about a coaching program, you really want the customer's buy-in. You want them to sell themselves. And if they're doing a lot of the talking, chances are they're going to sell themselves, especially if you're leading them down the path with the right questions. And if we're looking at just a ratio, a good closer that's selling a coaching program should talk maybe 25-30% of the time, where the student should talk 70-75% of the time. And if you find that those ratios are out of whack, you probably need to readjust what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you want the potential prospect to sell themselves. Nobody wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy. And if they sell themselves, they're buying, they're not being sold. And if you've asked the right questions along the way, you're going to take all the objections out of it and you're going to allow them to come to a decision that says, I like where this is going. I like how this can take me from point A to point B, and I'm going to engage. I'm going to move forward. So let's break down this process exactly how it's done. First off, before we get into the components, selling a coaching program is an emotional sale. What do I mean by that? The person that is buying a program, they don't care about the program. They care about what it will do for them in their life. And when they think about that, this is where I am, this is where I want to get to, and this program is going to get me here, it becomes very emotional. So they buy based off of emotion. We used to say, sell people on emotion and then justify it logically with them. Take them through the process to then where they can justify the amount of money they spend on a coaching program that makes sense for them because they've already invested emotionally. But if you don't take them down from this emotional high to a logistical standpoint, then at some point you might have cancellations or chargebacks or things that'll happen down the road, because when they come off that emotional high, they're going to all of a sudden be like, I just spent $10,000 $100,000. What am I doing? But if you get them on the emotional high and then you bring them down, justify it to them, all of a sudden that takes all of the guesswork out of it and allows them to settle into their headspace that they were at prior to getting on the phone call with a really good sales individual that can get them into that high ticket coaching program. So the first step of a coaching program is the probe or the consultation. I really think that a two-part sales process, even a two-person sales process, is paramount when selling a coaching program. So that probe, this is really where you're asking those questions to pull out that emotion. So you're asking about their current situation. What does it look like? Everything down to their finances, their relationships, where they're at in life, what they do for a living, how much money they make. You really want to paint a clear picture of where they are that is very clear for both you and the potential customer. Now, when you're asking those questions, this is really important. You need to ask questions that go below the surface, right? If you ask surface level questions, you're gonna get surface level answers. If you say, well, do you like your job? Yes. Okay, what else can you ask? You say, how long have you been doing your job? And do you feel like you're getting to a point in your life where you're getting ahead? No. Why not? Where would you like to see yourself? Why would you like to see yourself there? So all of a sudden, asking those questions that pull out things from below the surface is what's gonna drive them towards a sale and allows them to talk and you to listen, which is exactly what we want. So when they go through that consultation and you find out where they're at, you then start talking about their goals and their dreams of where they wanna get to. Like I said, people buy a coaching program, not for what it is, but what it can do for them. So if you paint a picture, if this were to help you get to where you want to get to and be a second stream of revenue for you, where would you see yourself? What would you like to accomplish? What would you like to do? And they start listing their goals. And then you start tying emotion to that. And how would it feel to be able to do what you just told me you want to do? What would that look like? What would it do for you? What would it do for your family? How would your situation be different? How would that feel? Why would it feel that way? So you start to get the idea, but then you've got to bring them down to the commitments, right? And those commitments are being able to make a decision today. Yes is okay, no is okay, maybe doesn't work, right? You've got to have the decision makers on board. Is you and your wife both part of this decision? If they are, you go back to the very first of the consultation and do it again with a spouse. They've got to be on board. They've got to be synced up. You've got to be willing to invest today. Any investment, if you say yes, there's an investment required, and that's what we're looking for from you. And if it makes sense and you feel like it's going to get you from point A to point B, are you willing to invest today? Yes. So if you can get commitment on those are key indicators that they're willing to move forward. Then the second part of the sales process on selling a coaching program is the close. This is where the program director or the closer will go through all the details of the program, how it works, reiterate all of their goals of what they want to be from where they're at, and tie it all together that this is going to be this long. It's going to include all these things. We're going to take you step by step and we're going to provide with you. And you might have something like a warranty of service or a guarantee of service in there. And so having those things in place is going to solidify the deal. These are the things that we've done over time that I felt we've become really good at to sell a coaching program. But I'm not saying we're the experts. I'd love to hear what you've done. What are some things in your career where you've sold coaching programs that have worked for you? Whether you've done it by yourself or if you had a two-part sales process, I'd love to engage in a dialogue. And once again, just for stopping by the page and watching the video, I've got a free gift for you. It's aaronSalesTraining.com. It's 10 modules of our best sales training called Persuasion and Influence that we use for all of our sales reps, and it's a free gift for you. Normally $1,000. Just click on the link and it's all yours. And once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an awesome day.